We are just 48 hours away from Week 11 as Miami hosts the Las Vegas Raiders as the Dolphins look to get their second straight win. And the injury news on this Friday afternoon is not good. We've had some good news this week with Isaiah Wynn and other injury news, but this time it's not so good as Terron Armstead headlines the injury report, and we'll get to everything with Armstead in just a second. But before we do that, let me know who you got in this big-time showdown this week. Type MIA for the Miami Dolphins. Type LV if you got the Las Vegas Raiders. Can the Dolphins win 2 in a row? Let's see. Let's get into Terron Armstead now because he is questionable for Week 11 with a knee injury, and this is pretty big-time news here. And I really didn't think that it was even a possibility that Armstead was going to miss this game, and we've seen so many injury news with Austin Jackson this week, the news on Dodson. Like, there's just been so much roster shuffling that Armstead being on the injury news and injury report is kind of just taking a back seat, if you will. But now that he's officially questionable for this game on Sunday, it has me a little nervous because this is what your offensive line would look like if Armstead is healthy and ready to go. Kendall Lamb is your starting right tackle with Austin Jackson on IR. Eichenberg and Aaron Brewer take over the middle. And then we'll talk about Robert Jones in a little bit, but it seems like he will be able to play this week after leaving at halftime last week against the Rams with a knee injury. But Armstead is a big-time question mark now. And if he would not be able to go, you'd have to rely on second-round rookie Patrick Paul to fill in at that left tackle position. The reason why it's so nerve-wracking, if you will, for me, is because who we'd have to go up against and who we will have to go up against, even if Armstead is healthy. And that is arguably the best defensive player in the entire NFL in Maxx Crosby. Depends on how you value each position, whether you talk about corners, linebackers, safeties, edge rushers, interior defensive linemen. But I would be willing to put out there that Maxx Crosby is the best DN/edge rusher in the entire National Football League. He does it in the run game. He gets after the quarterback. He's gritty. He is determined to disrupt every single game he plays in, and he is what we call a good old-fashioned game wrecker. So to me, this is someone that the Dolphins have to be very conscious of, even if you have Terron Armstead out there. And by the way, Armstead's playing at an all-pro level. He is the number 1 graded left tackle in the entire National Football League, according to Pro Football Focus. So even if you have a great game from Patrick Paul, you're still not getting the level of play from the left tackle spot that you're getting on a day-to-day and week-to-week basis with Armstead. And I am getting nightmares right now thinking about Maxx Crosby going up against either Kendall Lamb or Patrick Paul, because Crosby does move around on the defensive line. There's sometimes he'll line up at that spot across from Lamb at right tackle. And if you do not have Armstead, he is just going to pick his position, pick his poison on which offensive tackle to attack, whether it would be a rookie in Patrick Paul or the swing tackle veteran in Kendall Lamb. So it is very nerve-wracking either way, but it would ease my mind if you had Terron Armstead, one of the top offensive tackles in all football, ready to go. A little bit of a positive news on the offensive line is Robert Jones. It does look like he is going to play. It was reported later this week that it is going to be a interesting position for Robert Jones. He's injured, he's banged up, but he is going to have to play through injury. And Mike McDaniel said he is optimistic that Robert Jones will play this week. So looks like the left guard is going to play through the pain this week. Let's just hope it doesn't affect him too much, because I will be honest, Robert Jones is not good enough for me to justify him playing through pain if it sacrifices his ability to make blocks and make plays in this football game, because if he is a little bit banged up and it's going to affect his play, I'd rather just go with the healthy Lester Cotton. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel, because we are going to have daily content here at the channel. Plus, we are live for every single Miami Dolphins football game. We're going to be live again this Sunday for this Raiders-Dolphins Week 11 game. Join the channel and make sure you're locked in. Let's get to more injury news surrounding this football team. This one's on Alec Ingold. The fullback missed Monday Night Football against the Los Angeles Rams, but is a true 50-50 this week, according to Mike McDaniel. You see how much he's missed. The Dolphins had one of their worst blocking games and worst rushing attacks of the entire season. They've been phenomenal since Week 5 against New England. Yesterday, or I guess I should say this weekend's Week 10, was the worst it's been since the first 2 or 3 weeks of the season. Why is that? Well, it's because Alec Ingold missed the game. Now, could the offensive line play better? Absolutely, but I think Ingold's productivity and importance to this offense, and rushing, blocking, and run offense is so imperative. And I don't think it gets talked enough. Hopefully, Ingold is ready to go because Durham Smythe and Julian Hill, I don't think, could fill his shoes at that fullback spot. Other injury news. Isaiah Wynn, who returned to practice this week, and his 21-day practice window is open. Patrick McMorris has his 21-day practice window open, and Blake Ferguson as well, are not going to be elevated this week. That's what it sounds like out there. So these three players returning from PUP list/IR will not be this week. We'll see if it is before week 12 against the New England Patriots, but these three players will remain on the PUP/IR list, whatever one they are currently on, which tells me that Jackson Carman will be elevated this week. Carman was elevated before Monday Night Football to be a depth piece on that offensive line, and with Isaiah Wynn not being activated this week, and the Dolphins currently only having 8 healthy offensive linemen, it could be down to 7 if Armstead is unable to go. I would expect the practice squad offensive tackle and former second-round pick to be on the active 53-man roster this upcoming Sunday, so be on the lookout for that. All right, we're going to get into some Raiders injury news in just a second, but we do have to tell you about our sponsor on today's show, I should say, and that is DraftKings, the #1 sportsbook and casino here that sponsors Dolphins Today. The Emirates NBA Cup is here. You can win big getting in on the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. All 30 teams, split into 6 groups, every Tuesday and Friday playing for the right to advance in the single elimination in-season tourney, culminating in the NBA Cup Championship in Vegas. First time, here's something special just for you. New DraftKings customers bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Score big with DraftKings Sportsbook. Every point counts. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code HEATCHAT. That's code HEATCHAT for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 8778-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777. Visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/bball. And make sure you get started with DraftKings because you play either way you want. Straight bets, parlays, player props. They're the home of player props. And you can take advantage of the promo code HEATCHAT to get $200 instantly in bonus bets when you place a $5 wager. It's the same code. We use it for both our Dolphins and Heat channel. My plays for this Sunday, I got Dolphins -7.5 and Raiders under 14.5 points this week. Lines and odds are subject to change, but make sure you get started with DraftKings, the #1 sportsbook and casino out there that sponsors Dolphins Today. Let's talk about some Raiders injury news because there are some important players that we have to talk about that will impact this matchup between the two clubs. And we'll start with the defense here on the Raiders because Nate Hobbs being out already for this game is significant news. There's also Andre James, Cody Whitehair, Harrison Bryant out, and then Michael Mayer listed as questionable. Mayer is the only questionable Raider on this list, so it really is just down to him to see if he can go. But let's talk more in depth about Nate Hobbs because I would make the argument that he is the best corner on the Raiders team. Him and Jack Jones kind of lead that boundary corners, and they've got a couple other secondary members as well. But Hobbs is someone that makes a lot of plays for this ball club. He's not afraid to get his hands dirty in the run game, has an interception, 5 PBUs. This is a big loss for the Las Vegas Raiders defense. And a defense that is up and down this year. They've been okay at getting after the quarterback and defending the pass, but they're really poor against the run, which is why I think it's important that we get Devon Achane rolling this week. But without Hobbs for Las Vegas, the wide receivers for Miami, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, should be able to run pretty free in that back secondary of the Raiders defense. I don't think they're very good without Hobbs back there, and I would expect the passing game of Miami to really have a good start and good week this week. But I have mentioned it throughout the week. Like, I think they should still, and they being Miami, get the run game started first. Like, get Achane rolling against this poor Raiders defense and run defense. They rank in the bottom 10 in the National Football League against the run, but they rank in the top 15 against the pass. So they're a defense that is susceptible to the run, better against the pass, but without their top corner, could be a little bit of a different story for the Raiders defense. Let me know your confidence level in a win for the Miami Dolphins this week. Scale at 1 to 10, no rookie scores. You can give me decimals down in the comments section. How are you feeling on the Dolphins winning a second straight game? It would be the first time all year they'd win 2 straight. I'm at like a 9.1 personally. I feel very good. Gardner Minshew is starting for the Raiders this week at quarterback. He is really, really bad. And I tell you what, this Dolphins team, I think they're motivated, coming off of a win. They're going to be feeling good. You saw the Deshaun Elliott comments this week. I think this Dolphins team wants to put people on notice and go on a little bit of a run. And I think it starts this week against the Raiders. So give me a 9.1. All right, before we get out of here, let's talk about Tyreek Hill because it came out over the last 48 hours that Hill discussed having surgery on his wrist, which had him questionable for this past Monday Night Football game against the Rams. But he will not have surgery and will play through the pain as of right now. So it sounds like regardless of what happens this season, Tyreek Hill will be having surgery on his wrist in the next 5 months per se. Even when the season ends, whenever that is, he will get surgery. And I'll tell you this, to be honest, if the Dolphins ultimately get out of playoff contention, say with 4 weeks left in the year, the Dolphins have no chance making the postseason. I would expect Tyreek Hill to get surgery and kind of just get a head start on his rehab in the offseason. But as the Dolphins still have a glimmer of hope to make this playoffs, about 23-24% right now, according to some analytics, and their schedule coming up, Tyreek Hill will continue to play through the game or the injury and be an absolute warrior. One more scare that we're going to talk about before actually ending today's show is Jalen Ramsey. Ramsey popped up with a little bit of an injury and was concerning to me and some others with Kendall Fuller already out for this game, but he is not on the injury report. He is good to go. He has a knee injury, did not participate in practice on Friday, but the CB1, who is having an unbelievable good season for the Miami Dolphins, will be playing in this game. Like I mentioned earlier in the week with Fuller, it's not the biggest deal that Fuller's out for this game because you're going up against a passing attack that is one of the worst in football. They don't move the ball through the air often and really only have one wide receiver that you worry about in Jacoby Myers. The rest aren't that good. But if you were down both Ramsey and Fuller, that would certainly be concerning. But looks like Ramsey will be playing in this ball game. And make sure you are subscribed. Like I said, we will have a video dropping tomorrow. But then we'll be live on Sunday afternoon for this game. Live for our pregame tailgate hour before kickoff. So 12 p.m. Eastern time and then 1 p.m. Eastern time when the game gets underway. Let's go win our second straight ball game and improve our record to 4-6.